Welcome to SWTV, Sylvia with the Voice, your ultimate source for the most abnormal news and wildest reactions on the internet. I'm Sylvia, and we need to talk about what is happening in these streets. If you haven't subscribed yet, hit that button because it's about to get weird. Let's go. Y'all, with everything crazy happening in the world right now, I had to bring you something positive. Meet Anita and Tim, a Toronto couple whose love story is absolutely taking over the internet. Anita once pictured herself looking up at the man she would marry, but Tim stands 4 feet tall. And what she eventually realized was that while Tim didn't match the picture she had in her head, he matched the qualities she actually wanted in her heart. Maybe some of us need to throw that checklist away. Let's get into their beautiful story.
Okay, a Toronto couple is going viral on social media once again, not necessarily for what they might have accomplished in their careers, but more so for their amazing and genuine love story, gaining at least 100 million fans worldwide. We are so excited and happy to be joined in the studio this morning by Anita Wingley and Tim Muttoo. Thank you so much for coming in. I've been reading your love story online like it's a romance novel, and it is so special. Anita, talk about that moment when I know you and Tim have crossed paths before in all these neighborhoods and even in East Africa back in 2012, but I know you guys met through mutual friends. When did you start thinking of Tim as more than a friend? What was that moment for you?
It took a while.
Oh, it did, okay.
And actually, he's the one who told me that he liked me first. And then at the time, we were really good friends, and it caught me off guard, and I actually had to spend a couple weeks thinking to myself, what does it mean if I tell Tim that I like him back? Do I even like Tim? I had to think through that.
Yeah.
And then I realized that because we were so used to being friends, and he had great friend vibes, and it took me a while to realize that he actually has so many of the things that I have been looking for in a partner. He's kind, he's a leader, he's got a lot of vision, and so I had to spend a couple of weeks. I actually told him multiple times that we need to be friends and only friends. And then eventually I realized that no, I actually have feelings for him, and I really care about him, and I love how he cares for me. And then, because I knew that when I told him that I liked him, that it was game over. We were going to be together forever. So I had to spend some time thinking it through.
Yeah, and Tim, for you, it was probably a bit quicker with Anita. You talk about how she would bake goods and send things to your mother and say, make sure this is for your mom. So you knew the essence of who she was, and I think you developed feelings first, correct?
Yeah, so it's one of those things when it's all those things that you kind of think about you would want to find in someone, and then it's starting to happen. So initially I was just seeing Anita as a friend as well, building a great friendship, taking long walks and talking. And then, as he said, when she started doing these things and we started to really build the connection, I caught feelings, and it happened. And I would just kind of nonchalantly tell Anita things. I didn't come out directly just to get a feel.
You were putting out the feelers with text messages, and initially she was like, oh, this is kind of getting to be a nuisance. How do I shut him down? Okay, but Anita, I think what's so unique about your love story and why your marriage went viral last year when you got married in June is because, when people look at you, they don't assume oh my gosh, this is a match. You're 5'4", you're 4 feet tall.
Yeah. But
you're trying to show that love goes beyond looks, money, the superficial things. What has that kind of been like, getting all this attention from people around the world inspired by your story, but also, the internet is full of haters and trolls as well. So how do you balance that?
Yeah, thankfully, Tim is really great at being what I call my comments bodyguard. Between the two of us, I'm a little bit more of a writer because I'm just a sensitive person, and I love putting my emotions into words and feeling things. But then processing thousands and thousands of comments, some positive, some horrendous, is a bit too much for me. So Tim helps with that. And the other thing too, we have gotten some incredibly touching comments, people who really feel like we just opened up their hearts and what they thought was possible with love. And those we keep, and they stick with us. And that's part of what keeps us going and encourages us to keep sharing our story.
Yeah. And I think you both have this mutual love of helping other people, of being generous, of, even, God, and just hope. And that's, you share a lot of values. Tim, I understand that you run a water charity.
I do.
It takes you to all places across across the world. But now you've written a book based on your story called Love Can Grow. Comes out in September 1st. What are you hoping people get from reading your book?
So when we went viral, and it's continuing to this day, we get comments from people all over the world. And it's a response to those comments. People are looking for hope. They're just trying to figure out, just as you were describing, this relationship that they see visually. How is it working? And they put themselves in my place as gentlemen and Anita's place as a woman and say, well, how could this work if I was looking for love? So the book dives deep into kind of figuring out your purpose as a person, and then also, you know, building relationships. And then it also walks through at the end this journey of when you do find somebody and find true love. So it's one of my first books. I'm so proud of it. I'm so proud to take it to the world and to launch it and just to respond. You know, when you're on social media, you can't really respond deeply.
And why even try, right?
Why even try? But we get comments all the time, and I'm just so excited to share my upbringing. You know, I was born here in Canada. We were both were, and just to share that story of our upbringing and how we fell in love, and that it can happen for anyone. It truly can.
Yeah. What a beautiful story. Oh my gosh. Anita and Tim, please invite me to your wedding renewal a few years later. I look forward to that and look forward to reading your book. Thank you so much for joining us. Appreciate the time.
What really got me was that Anita didn't say physical attraction doesn't matter. What she realized was that she had been focusing on something external when the qualities she actually prayed for were internal. Their relationship didn't start with some dramatic love at first sight moment. They built a friendship first, they met in 2021, became close, and eventually that friendship grew into something much deeper. Tim himself says their connection is built around shared faith, purpose, and long-term vision, and that those things matter far more than physical traits. Now here's the question that might get some of y'all in trouble in the comments. How many people have potentially passed up an amazing partner because the person didn't match the physical checklist they created in their head? And I love that their story went viral for something positive. We're constantly seeing relationship drama online, cheating, divorces, scandals. Sometimes it's nice to see millions of people stop scrolling for a story about love. Be honest with me, y'all. Could you marry somebody who didn't physically match the type you always imagined for yourself, even if they had everything else you prayed for? What's more important when choosing a spouse? Physical attraction, character, compatibility, shared values, or do you need all of them? Let me know in the comments below. Please remember to comment, like, subscribe. We'll continue the conversation in the comments below. Please remember to be mindful and respectful, and I'll see you in the next video.